nirvana means in Sanskrit, blow out. That is, exhale the breath.
A lot of layers.
I'm going to clap quick. Guys, welcome back to the podcast. I'm sitting here today with Michael and Andrew. Guys, welcome.
What's going on?
What's going on? Thanks for having us.
Man, we just had a really fun audio issue for the first time ever. So if humming is in this episode, guys, at all, we tried our best.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, welcome back, Andrew.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. Let
really-
me bring a friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Can you come closer to that mic somehow?
Closer.
Or, I'm just scared to turn you up.
No, I'm scared to talk too loud.
No, I love loud talking. I'm like inches.
I'm trying to find that distance. I'm not breathing into it, but you can hear me okay. So
Yeah, totally. No, I hear you now. Fine.
okay.
Well, you want to tell the people a little bit about you?
Sure. Name's Michael Horecki. I'm an Eau Claire guy. Grew up here. And then, spent my career so far, 15 years, traveling around the Midwest, doing political work, communications work. Was in Washington, D.C. for a bit, Madison for a bit. Just a year ago, moved back home. So one of those people who boomerangs right back home to Eau Claire. So it's been nice to be back. And, glad to be here and talking to you guys today. So I'm meeting cool people all around town. So it's been a pretty good year.
Yeah, it's been super fun. You have really great energy. I'm going to be stressing about the audio this entire episode, guys. I'm sorry.
I'm going to just start humming into the mic over there, just throwing it.
I'm like, wait, can I hear him? Can I not hear him? That sounds really cool. So mostly marketing, though. And then I know you sent me a little thing. I was reading it about you working on the Navy or something.
Yeah. So I'll give you the long.
Give us the long.
You just dig into whatever this is interesting. Went to school in Iowa. Went to a college called Grinnell College, middle of nowhere. Nothing to do in between. It's on I-80 in between Des Moines and Iowa City. And it was there. And my junior year, I started working for the college. And my boss at the time, we got along really well. Ended up doing an internship with her, and eventually she decided to run for state representative. And she was like, "Hey, it's 2011. It's the middle of the recession, and you're a history major. You want a job?" And I was like, "Yes, I very badly want a job." And she was like, "Awesome. I'll pay you like $40 a week. You can live in an apartment that we own, and that's it. That's the gig." And I was like, $40 a week? That's like $30 for beer. Like, this is awesome. Like, let's do this. So got involved in politics. And I was running a campaign. It became the most targeted race in the state of Iowa. We had all this money coming in. And I was 21. I had no idea what I was doing. And we were getting $60,000, 72 hours for the election. We were cutting radio ads, right? It was 11 p.m. in the studio. We had no script. We're like riffing ads out. Like, they got to go midnight to the station to get run. It was crazy, and we ended up losing that race by a 0.5%. It was crazy time, and I walked off that race and I was like, that was freaking awesome.
That must have been intense at 21.
Yeah, it was crazy, dude. I messed so much stuff up. Like, now
I was like, how is that work-life balance?
Terrible, man. 7 days a week, 14. I mean, you basically you would just work all day, and then you just you would eat at events, you drink at events, it all was woven in. That was all you did all day, every day.
Drinking at events, nothing better.
Yeah, work, politics drunk.
Yeah.
Got to get some things done. So, but no, it was crazy. And after coming off that race, it was like, man, this was wild. I learned a lot, and I still look back in that race. I was like, man, if I ran that race today, I think we could have won it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I learned a ton from it. And so I was like, man, I want to take what I learned. I want to do this again. And so my now wife was going to school at the University of Michigan, so I moved to Ann Arbor. I got involved in city politics, doing city council races, mayoral races. Those went pretty well, and so got noticed for that and ended up getting picked up by a congressional race in West Michigan. So I lived in Grand Haven, right along the lake shore, so all the way from Holland all the way up to Ludington. That was our district. Most beautiful place ever to do a congressional race during the summer. It was awesome. I was there. That was another tough race. Was working for a guy who was a self-funder. He, had been an executive and wanted to run for Congress, and so put a lot of his own money in, and that was a cool experience too to get to do. And again, at that point, was 24. Working congressional campaign. That was incredible. And my wife at the time, or wife now, got a job in DC after she graduated, and so I finished the congressional race and followed her out there. And then in DC, I got involved in this public affairs firm, and so that's where I started blending politics and communication. So starting to do more political work.
Sure. Do you feel like he's going in and out, or is it just
a little bit?
A little bit. I'm like, I gotta get closer here, So
yeah, get on it.
Really
Sorry, it's the worst setup.
No, get up really close here. So.
Now I can hear you.
Yeah, is that a little too close? I feel like I'm getting too intimate with this.
It's fine.
What was your record? in the political arena?
I lost every race I ever ran.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then
So you're due.
yeah. Well, so it's funny.
That's it. Max for president.
Yeah, literally. Well, this is a story, I guess, about failing upwards. I mean, we lost, but a lot of the races we were running, we weren't supposed to win, and it was one of those where it's like we were losing by better margins than we were supposed to, and people were looking at that, going like, "Hey, okay, you guys are supposed to get blown out, and you kind of just barely lost." Like, that's interesting. Why did that happen? And then like even in the city council work we were doing in Ann Arbor, we ran against an incumbent. We lost that race by 30 votes.
Wow.
And it was a race where, that one was hard because it was literally like all the people on the soccer team, if they had just voted the other way, like all the moms and dads of the candidates, her kids' friends and stuff, they had all voted or even just voted at all. She probably would have won that race. And then she ran again, and it was a blowout. And she won the next time. They didn't even put up anybody against her because they knew she was going to win. And that was an example where, we made the mark, right? And we did what we needed to do. So, so it was incredible experience. But, a lot of losses. So that was, after each one, you're like, is it me? Like, am I just really bad at this?
But isn't that like kind of the joke about politics is there's a lot of that kind of failing forward?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And it's so much of politics it's who you know, right? And so much like, when you go through those experiences, like anything, like if you've been, whether it's in the service or, you do political work or been on a sports team, whatever, once you're in the trenches with those people, you're going to look out for them later. And so you often ends up with these kind of classes of people moving through the political system, right? Where you got like a group of folks came up together on the same race. One of them got a good job, pulls all the old buddies together. And sometimes that's great, and sometimes it's not great. Sometimes you got people who are pulling people through who maybe shouldn't be in the system anymore. But it's what happens. And so,
Wild.
It is kind of an interesting, there's a whole internal like social structure.
What was it like when you first moved to DC?
Oh man.
How old were you?
So I was, I would have been 25 at the time.
And you grew up in Eau Claire?
Yeah.
Yeah, it must have been wild.
Yeah.
Because I moved to New York in my early 20s, and so it just, this whole other world is out there.
Oh, totally.
And then I can only imagine what it would have been like in the political scene in Washington.
Well, I'd be curious, Max, for your thoughts on this, on the difference between New York and DC, because this was like well discussed in DC. I'm curious how you feel about this as someone who lived in New York. So DC was a place where you would go to a happy hour, and everyone would look at you and be like, "Hey, man, like, who are you?" And you'd be like, "Oh, I'm Michael." And they'd be like, "What do you do?" And you'd be like, "This is my job." And then they would immediately judge whether you were relevant to their profession or not. And if you weren't, boom, on. And that sucked. Like because you would just network your way around a room, and people would just glaze over the moment you said something that they didn't care about. And if they did care about you, suddenly they were your best friend and they're buying you a drink. And it just all felt incredibly fake. And I think coming from the Midwest, it's like, we see that fakeness, and like it grates us the wrong way. Did you find that in New York? Like, what was New York like?
I have a wide spectrum of cities that I got the opportunity to live in. I think New York, I got that the least. I think in New York, no one really gives a fuck who you are. They're like, I mean, obviously people are trying to climb, and you'll find that everywhere, but not. I think the worst of it's in LA. Because everybody in LA wants to be famous, and they're all trying to get on a mission, and so they really try to weed you out fast. Ugh. It's like all about the money and like if you can help me.
Yeah.
Where in New York, I didn't have that as much.
Okay.
But I grew up in a very creative scene, so I'm sure the finance bros,
the Chads of the world.
Yeah, I'm sure Tribeca like down there.
Right.
They're not a Max fan.
I bet they love my work. People like that love my work. It's just such a different environment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I totally buy it. Like in the DC thing was like, it was uniform, right? Like everyone was in their black suits, and you go to the happy hour, and everyone's talking about, oh, do you work on the Hill? Or which member are you working for? And you would think in your head all the time, like people would be like, I'm the director of whatever, and you'd be like, well, what do you do? Like, tell me what your day is.
Totally like, made up title.
Yeah, some like bullshit title, and it's like, oh, you got coffee for somebody? Like, great. Like,
politics is still pretty niche.
Yeah.
So it's like, I could see how that would be even almost worse. Cause I guess in the circles in New York, I feel like that'd be more suit and tie. In LA, it's not that vibe. It's more like I'm wearing my Balenciaga, my $5,000 baseball cap or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a different flex, but all the same shit.
Yeah. So it was, to your initial question, yeah, like DC, it was weird coming out there as a Midwesterner. I'm a big train guy, which like was a rabbit hole we don't need to go down, but I love trains.
It's really funny you say that because I didn't get a car until because I moved to New York in my early 20s. I had one growing up here, but then I left and I didn't have to use I didn't have to own a car for like 10 years.
This was the thing, right? So same in DC. Like we just rode the metro everywhere, and it was like coming back and getting a car was real weird. Like it was
I
like
agree with
there was
that.
some freedom to it that you felt that you didn't have with the train, but then also this burden of like I hadn't thought about drunk driving in years because it was just like, well,
It's the only reason I don't have a DUI now.
Yeah.
Because if I had the opportunity to get a DUI in my 20s, I probably would have.
Yeah.
I just never had the opportunity. I never was driving.
Yeah, you're young and dumb, right? And like it's like and it's like you have the opportunity. I can see how you do it. And like in here, you don't have a choice, right? Like your buddy lives, wherever. There's not a way to get there. And like Lyft and Uber, that's all new. Like that wasn't there when we were coming up. So like the train, again, once you started doing that, it was like, I couldn't imagine going back to getting a car. And then when we came back, it was like, oh, right. Yeah, this kind of sucks. Like parking, gas, maintenance. Like, so I will say my 15 minutes of fame in DC was I was on one of the metro trains when it caught on fire.
Really?
And I was interviewed by the Washington Post.
Wow.
And this is my claim to fame. This is my 15 minutes of fame. So there's an article out there that I'm interviewed for because we had family in from out of town. And it was a great sob story. They had my 4-year-old niece was there. And how was she feeling as a tourist when the train caught fire?
She's a 4-year-old.
like,
Doesn't
she's
matter
four,
if she's a tourist or not.
It was like she's 4. Like she's
I was in a fireball today. I'm all right though.
I'm good. Yeah, it was like I was like, what are you looking for out of this interview? It was like she was vibing. She's 4. So, the trains and stuff. I mean, I enjoyed all of that about the city, but it started to wear on me. Like I think I made just over $40,000 a year when I was working at the agency out there. Because you'd work 70-hour weeks.
Oh wow.
Anyone would take that job, right? It was like you got to work with great clients, and we can talk about that in a minute. But like you got to do the dream job, and like you were working with people who were highly connected. And so like a lot of the people when I was out there, what was another shock was my grandmother's from Poland, and she was displaced during the war, and we had an opportunity to go back with her to see her hometown where she grew up, and the whole family was going. And I told my colleagues this there. I was like, hey everybody, I'm going on a big trip. I'm going to Europe. I'm going to Poland. And in the Midwest, I feel like if you say something like that, people are like, whoa, that's crazy. You're going to Europe? Like I said that, and everyone was like, oh, I was in the Alps skiing. I was in Spain last month, or like my sister studies abroad, and we go visit her.
Yeah, we'll be in Ibiza in September.
Yeah, literally, yeah. And I was like, no one was impressed. Like everyone's like, Poland, like why would you even go there? Like know, and I'm like, it was such a different feel to be like, oh right, I'm surrounded by these like 1%er kids, and like I had like gotten very lucky to get that job, and I like lucked my way in. And like right place, right time, and I think around me, I was realizing like these are people who are from very wealthy, well-connected families, and there's this whole ecosystem. And I mean, you probably felt this too, Max, out in New York and LA. There is an ecosystem of people who have a lot of resources, who get their kids good internships and good jobs. Like if you got an internship on Capitol Hill, you don't get paid. Yeah. So how are you affording $2,500 a month in DC for rent? Yeah. Like, well, mommy and daddy are paying for it. And so you start to get this group of people that has these advantages, right? And then once you have an internship on the Hill, now you can go get a job at a bank, and they'll take you, and now you're working at the bank, and it just is a system that is.
Yeah. I mean, high fashion is very similar in that way. It's all nepotism.
Right. Yeah. It's who you know, and it's your parents. And I would imagine acting is too, probably. Like
I think a lot of it.
Yeah. So, because I all the time see, like, what was it? Dakota Johnson, whatever her name is.
Oh, yeah.
Like, weren't her parents, like, they were movie stars? Or?
I mean, I don't want to get too tinfoil hat this early, but I think a lot of...
we can go there.
Max loves a good conspiracy.
I'm down for it.
I mean, when you look into, like, the CIA and all the programs with them in Hollywood, it's like a lot of their kids are in all of this shit.
That's crazy. I mean, the amount of... stuff that's out there where like there's more going on under the surface. Like remember that whole scandal where the celebrities were paying for their kids to go to college?
Yeah, and they just got in.
So like it's not crazy to me to think that like there exist systems that are putting people in these places that are highly coveted and we don't know about them. Like that doesn't seem crazy to me.
No, that's how the real world works.
Right.
Like I know they want us to believe like, no, you guys can't do this, but they do it.
Drug deals make the world go round.
Yeah, well, and selling the idea that like if you only work hard enough, you can get there, and it's like over and over again. I think I'm not like trying to dunk on the American dream here, but it's like over and over again we've seen like you can work really hard, doesn't mean you're going to get where you want to go if there's other people who are paying to take that spot, So,
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, DC was DC though, like from a career perspective was incredible. I mean, like the people I got to work with in that job, it was wild. Like I'll give you this story. So I was at the Christmas party and I was working at the time. So one of the clients we were working with was the Postal Service, and we were helping their team sell political mail because I obviously had been on the other side of those conversations. And so I was on that team, and the woman I was working with at the time was a really nice person. We got along, mentor for me. We were talking off mic about the importance of mentors, like absolutely a huge mentor. And we were at the Christmas party, and she's like, she'd always been talking about her husband. She'd always be like, oh yeah, my husband, he's traveling for work. He's back in New Mexico for the weekends and the evenings. And I was like, okay, that's kind of a weird job. Like, who travels for work over the weekends and at night? Like, that's weird. So finally, Christmas party rolls around. She's like, I want you to meet him. He's going to come. And so we're at the table, and she waves. She's like, come on over here, honey. And I turn around, and it's the junior senator from New Mexico. Really? His wife was the woman I was working for. And it's like, you have these incredible, again, like a power couple, right? Like, and it's like, these are just like super well-connected people. And it's like you got the privilege to work with those people, and like they like you got the opportunity to learn from them, and some were there because they were really good at what they did, and some were there because they knew some people.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was like I had on the military account, like the guy I was working for had been a communications director on Capitol Hill for 20 years, and had worked for one of the legendary New England senators, and been his comms director. And it's like, again, this guy who's like been through some stuff, and like you get to learn from people like that. I mean, it was opportunity of a lifetime. Like, totally learned a lot. But then on the other hand, I was looking at my checkbook and I was like, can't really afford to live here. So at some point it was like, you know what, we probably need to.
That was always my problem in LA. Was I was surrounded by millionaires, and then I'm like trying to keep up, and it's like, you can't, bro.
I know.
Hey, stop.
And it's like, and you're stuck in that environment where, and like everyone's like, hey, you want to go out and like get dinner? And it's like, I don't really have $100 to throw around on this now, And like, it started to be an issue. And then, like again, talk about being Midwest driven, family values, all that kind of stuff. And we would want to be home for Thanksgiving, home for Christmas, and it was like every trip was an airfare, and it's like that starts adding up, and it was like you start having to make these choices where it was like, should I go to this graduation or not? And it's like, it's not about if you want to go, it's about can you afford to go. And it's like, man, that sucks. And like the moment that broke me, and was the moment that I was like, man, I need to come back, was my grandpa, who I was very close to, a Wisconsin boy, grew up down near Toma. He and I were really, really close, and he got sick. And I had to have this horrible conversation with my dad where I was like, do we think he's going to make it long enough for me to fly home and say goodbye? Also, I only have enough money for one ticket, so it's either this or the funeral. So, like, which one is it? And I remember, like, getting off the phone, I was like, this is the shittiest conversation. Like, no one should have to have that conversation. I remember being like, I don't want to be in a place where those are the choices I'm making in my life of like,
100%.
do I want to see a loved one? So that was the moment where we were like, maybe it's time to think about coming back.
Yeah, I definitely went through that too. Even when I living in Europe for as long as I did, it got to that point where it's like, I would just miss my family. And then it's like, you want to call them, but it's the middle of the night here.
Right.
Yeah, dude.
Or like, I'm going to bed and they're like calling me, trying to talk. And it's like, oh, it's midnight. I need to go.
Right.
Yep.
But then it's also, if I ever want to go home, it's $1,200.
I was just gonna say it's like a cool G flying back from Europe, anywhere in Europe. It's a cool G, easy.
Yeah.
And that's not like a weekend trip. That's not like you're just like.
But even LA, I mean, LA, it gets expensive, especially during those peak times when you want to come back. And I had been gone for like 15 years, so it really came down to like, I wanted to be around for my nieces and nephews when they're like this big. Otherwise, they don't care about me their whole life,
Yeah. Oh well, okay, you'll appreciate this. So I've got a theory that you can have a certain number of daily friends, weekly friends, monthly friends. It's kind of like if you've heard of Dunbar's number, this idea of the number of relationships you can have in your life, right? So like I'm totally bought in on that. So like you have to choose with the people you care about. Are you going to be a daily friend, a weekly friend, a monthly friend, a yearly friend? And if you're going to be a monthly friend, there's certain things you're just not going to talk about with them because like you don't get to do the day-to-day ups and downs, right? And like you start realizing when your family members, like people you care about, are in that category where you're like, you're going to be like yearly people for me, or every 6 months. It's like, your nieces and nephews aren't going to care about you. Like your dude who rolls in once a year, twice a year. Like, like you're not a part of their lives, and like you don't get to get the high points. Like, oh, I graduated 5th grade. awesome, bud.
Yeah.
Conversation over. And I think you got to decide if you want to live life like that, you know?
Totally. And I don't have kids, so it's a lot easier to be flexible with myself. So it's like, that's why it took me a long time to want to move back here. But then once I did, I was like, oh, now I can find the way to like make this work.
Yeah.
You know, and then the quality of life, once you get used to the quality of life, I tell you.
Yeah, it's hard to beat. Well,
It's
I would imagine
it's so nice to live here. It
Yeah.
really is.
It's hard to beat. And I would imagine too in your work, Max, like the ability now with so much of the world moving remote during COVID, like there's probably ability for you to still stay connected in different ways that weren't possible before.
The thing that crushed me is just the way that marketing and creative moved, because all of the budgets kind of dried up. So then it's like they're not willing to fly you in anymore unless you're like on another level.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't big enough to like be able to pull that off. I mean, I do fly around for jobs every now and again, but I also didn't really market myself like that. I kind of feel like my big goal is I want to do creativity for myself. I don't really love hunting for like marketing money or like kissing ass to like creative directors and stuff. So then I'm more excited about like 10,000 subscribers at $10 a month, and that's $100,000 a month. And then you just do the creative you want.
Yeah. I think this is the hardest part. You know, when I worked at these different agencies, and you know, we had creative teams that we got to work with all the time, and I was usually more on the strategy and account side. And you know, I think the hardest part was you'd see these artists who were coming in and they had a gift, they had a skill, and then we would tell them over and over again, cool that you have this vision, this skill, this gift. You can't use any of that, or at best it's going to be like repurposed for this commercial purpose that like maybe you're not supportive of, or maybe you don't even believe in, or whatever. We're basically going to like steal this thing from you and apply it for like a mercantile purpose. And like after a while, like I saw so many good people just get crushed by that. Like there's only so many times it can be like, hey Max, I need you to shoot 100 photos in 24 hours, edit them all and make them look good. And by the way, it's got to be artistic. And
that's my job now.
And that's your job now. Like, yeah. Well, is that really your job now? I hope not. That's hard, man.
No, but I did just turn around a campaign in like 24 hours.
I mean, you still got to be able to do it.
You still got to be able to do it. Yeah.
There was one thing I wanted to ask you before we get off politics. Who is like the biggest person you saw where you were like kind of like celebrity style, where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm seeing this leader right now?
Oh, that's a great question. So my like weird brush with fame, there's been a couple really interesting ones. My favorite is I was working for this public affairs firm in DC, and we were working on the U.S. Navy aircraft carrier program, and we would do these like manufacturer breakfasts. So basically, all these people who build the aircraft carriers, all the parts and components, they would come into DC for this breakfast, and we would have members of Congress come and speak to them. And so I was in charge of like the line, right? Because all the members of Congress got like 5 minutes at the podium, right? And it was like, okay, Congress. Okay. So I was doing all that, and this guy came up behind me, and we were just like shooting the shit, and he seemed pretty nice, and he was asking like, oh, what's the event? And at some point I was kind of like, dude, like get out of the way, like members of Congress come through, and at some point they're like, okay, next up is Representative Tim Walz, the representative from Minnesota, and turns around, that's the guy. And of course, he ended up running for vice president. Yeah. So yeah, it was. I met him back when he was a member of Congress before he became governor of Minnesota. Nicest guy, and we just like chatted. And he was like, "Oh, I'm from the Midwest. Like, I get it. It's weird out here. Like, you know, it's just he was like just a normal dude." And like, and what I loved about the campaign this last cycle is they did a wonderful job, I think, of like highlighting and letting him be just like the normal guy that he is. And like that energy was like very true even years ago when I had just like met him, and you know, just he was shooting the shit and just being a dude at 7 a.m. in this like weird ballroom, you know,
like standing in a line,
just standing in a line of people, you know. So yeah, it was cool. So that was a cool brush with fame. So yeah, that was neat.
That's wild. I can imagine. I'm trying to think if I've really. Oh, you know who I saw was the Queen of England.
What?
Yeah, before she died.
That's a pretty big celebrity.
I think that's the only one I've ever seen. Wild. But I saw her like we were shooting in the streets of London. I can't remember what area. And then all of a sudden this car brigade goes by. And then all of a sudden my old boss is like, it's the Queen. And yeah, that's the only one. I think the only political person I've really ran into.
So Andrew, can you beat that? The Queen of England?
The Queen of England.
What do you got?
Man. I mean, I've met some like representatives.
I never met her. I didn't just. I guess I didn't meet her. I just saw her.
Who have you had drive by you and had?
Oh, so many, so many. I think the coolest thing that celebrity wise, but it wasn't a leader, but I was in Iraq. Charlie Daniels came and played Iraq.
Yeah.
That's sick.
He's like, thanks for you guys, all you do, da 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 da. And then like literally 3 months later, I ate chicken wings with Chuck Norris.
What?
At like a table as large as this. It was like me, my buddy, and Chuck Norris eating chicken wings, telling Chuck Norris jokes.
That's what I was going to ask. Do people tell Chuck Norris jokes?
Absolutely.
And
he's got favorites too. He's like totally, yeah.
Well, that whole meme, Chuck Norris meme thing kept him alive.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
true.
I mean, he loved it. He was all
into
about it.
Okay.
Like, so in Iraq, like the Porta-Johns, right?
Yeah.
They had like Chuck, it was like just a smorgasbord of Chuck Norris jokes.
That's so fun.
And that was like his thing is he would like take them off the Porta-John walls and be like, I like that one.
I like that one. That's incredible. Wait, that's a pretty good celebrity meet.
I love that.
Yeah. I mean, those are the coolest ones.
Yeah. Do you have hot wings? Or was he doing spicy food?
No, I mean, they were like, literally, we were in a bombed out building. That was our chow hall.
Okay.
And they had like fryers on a trailer in the back that like
Did some chicken wings.
dropped some chicken wing. That's like all we had for lunch. It usually was chicken wings. That's what made it through.
Chicken wings kind of sound good right now, actually.
Yeah, I feel like in another episode we can unpack that. There's quite a lot there. So
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of celebrity run-ins, but not political people.
Yeah, I mean, for
Liv
work.
Tyler hit on me once.
No, she didn't.
Yeah, she did. There's a photo of us together too.
that's incredible.
Did you Photoshop it?
No.
It's within your
I'm
powers.
like- and
too.
I'm
Look
like-
at him smile. He's like, I might have.
No, I was so young. I was so scared. The photo, my eyes were like.
So did you get her number?
No.
She's next guest.
No.
That'd be
You
a
should
pretty
reach
big
out.
hit. Yeah.
You should reach out.
I'll put the photo right here, though.
I love this.
You should send her an email.
Who else? I don't know if this is appropriate. Oh, I matched with Demi Lovato on Riot once.
That's pretty incredible.
I know. Don't tell my girlfriend though.
Oh no. So that part's getting edited
Yeah, I was
out.
gonna say that's getting cut later.
No, I don't want to go down the list. It's weird. Let's talk more about you and life.
Here, I did bring a prop because I had one other story that I thought you'd appreciate. So here,
You brought a pop. Let's go.
I thought hats were a thing, and I brought this hat even though I can't wear it. So this is my when I was doing the U.S. Navy aircraft carrier work, I got this hat, and I love this hat. I've had this hat for years. It was for working on the USS Enterprise, which is
Here, let me shoot a photo of it so I can put it in the podcast.
yeah, you gotta put it in the podcast. So I got this hat. So I've only worn this hat once. And I'm going to tell you the story of me wearing this hat. And very quickly, you're going to realize, much quicker than I did.
It was
problem.
9/11.
Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
you can't wear those hats
Yeah.
unless you're in.
Yeah. So I wore this hat because I was like, heck yeah. So yeah, I was walking around and people were coming up to me, thank you for your service. And the first person who did that, I was like, try to explain it, right? Like I was like, hey, actually, I'm just like an ad guy. Like I organize, I do communications. I made some press releases, and people were not happy. That went over very bad.
Was that in DC?
This was in DC, yeah. Because I was like walking around the monuments and stuff. It was double bad. So yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It was real bad.
Hindsight,
Yeah,
man.
So I didn't get the hint after the first person. I was like, that was weird. So I left it on, and it happened twice more. And that was when I realized I can never wear this hat, and I had to stuff it in my bag. And only now I'll like hang it behind me sometimes, like in my office. Even that I feel is like borderline. Like it's like this bad stolen valor stuff. So I'm not sure what to do with this hat, other than the only time I can bring it out is when I get to tell the full story and explain why I have the hat.
You should
That's
just get a
pretty funny.
T-shirt made. Like
That
that you
explains
wear
the whole thing.
that you wear with the hat.
I don't hate this.
I have a
Like, it's
hat
like a
just
set.
like that, but it says strip club veteran.
No one probably asks you too hard about that.
No, I don't go to strip clubs though, but it's a funny hat.
It is good hat. So I was gonna wear that, and then I was like, nah, this is the same problem that I get into every time. So either way, so
it's a
DC
learning. Life is a learning
life is
process.
yeah.
Yeah.
How do you get good at what you do? You mess a lot of stuff up.
Oh
So,
gosh, yeah.
Wait, what's the? My grandfather used to always say, if you're gonna be dumb, you got to be tough. And I've gotten
You
kind
gotta
of
be
tough.
dumb
So
and you gotta be tough.
There's a lot of truth to that.
yeah, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I say that to my kid. I'm like, you're either going to be like really smart or really strong. You pick. Like, it's because it's true.
It's good. See, we're just dropping knowledge on this podcast right
You
now.
gotta,
Keep everybody up.
You gotta learn some lessons.
Yeah.
It's not even if you're smart. Like some of them, they just have to.
Gotta mess a few things up. So.
Plus, everybody's got a dumb friend that gets you in trouble growing up.
I do. His last name is Robbie.
Oh no, it's not me. Not this one.
Shout out John Robbie.
No love.
Coming back in, guys. Coming back in. Guys, if you're listening so far, though, don't forget to subscribe to my Patreon. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Do anything. Love all of you. So is this your first podcast?
No, it's my first like interview style podcast. I would say. So a buddy of mine actually, we've been doing for 5 years a podcast where we review movies that are so bad they're good.
I like that.
So trying to, because everyone's got their like, oh, have you seen The Room? Have you seen whatever their version of the good bad movie is? And what we realized is it's so individual, and so we were like, you know what? Let's get through. Let's watch all this stuff. Our tagline is we waste our time so you don't have to. And we go through and we watch these movies. And again, we're still just two people with a perspective, but trying to at least weigh in like, okay, this one actually got some things going on. This is not good. Because there's some things that, people have such nostalgia for these films.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, oh, I love blank. And it's like, well, when's the last time you saw it? Oh, 30 years ago. Okay, well, maybe it's not as good. We'll boot that back up. So, like, we just watched RoboCop last week.
Nice. What's it called?
It's called Cup of Tea Reviews.
Cup of Tea Reviews.
Time it takes you to brew a cup of tea, we'll cover an entire movie.
You guys find them.
Yeah. Well,
I love
I'll
that.
send you the link.
Are you into like movie making and that kind of stuff?
So I enjoyed learning about it. So I personally am not much of a filmmaker, but the buddy I do my podcast with, he does the photo and video work for the marketing firm too, and he's much more of the filmmaker in the group.
What's his name?
Tim Carter. So
Tim Carter?
So Tim he went to film school down in Chicago and he's done freelance photo video work and kind of bounce around that space. So he's much more of like have like we were watching Battlefield Earth with John Travolta. Terrible film.
That was real bad.
But there's a scene where the camera's at this like 45-degree angle, and then it cuts, and we're just constantly moving. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is nauseating. And of course, he's the one who's like, that's called a Dutch angle. So the camera's at a, so he's that. He brings like that energy and that knowledge. That. So, but yeah, so it's kind of good. We have a good dynamic, I think.
So do you guys watch the watch the movie during the podcast, or how does that work?
Great question. No, we watch it. We'll watch it independently of the podcast, and then afterwards, we kind of build out a little script for it, and just what do we love about it? What did we not? And then was it our cup of tea? Was it not?
Have you ever seen Tarantino's podcast?
No.
So he does kind of the same thing, except he's Tarantino. And then he does it for movies he loves, like weird hard movies to find.
Yeah.
But him and the guy he does it with, who's another famous director, I can't think of their name. They have a Rogan. I think it's the last time Tarantino was on Rogan. Watch it. It's insane.
Sounds awesome.
It's so good.
Okay, I'll definitely check this
especially if you're into the movie thing and like, because they kind of break down their pocket, but then they talk about all these films, and it's so good.
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely down with that. Yeah, I've been getting into. There's this podcast called What Went Wrong, which is about movies and how difficult they are to make, and it's like the behind the scenes stuff. You know, like how did the movie get cleared and then made?
How did they waste $200 million and then cancel it?
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's like all the crazy stuff. So like, we went and saw they were playing downtown for the 50th anniversary. Jaws, was this year. So went to see that, and before that, listened to that episode, and like there's crazy stories in there about like they catch the wrong shark in the film. They had some lady go down to Florida, hire 4 dudes to kill a shark, and then they wouldn't let her fly it because the carriers were like, nah, you cannot fly a dead shark on an airplane. So she had to drive it in a cooler all the way back to New England, and it was like rotting by the time it got there. So you can actually see in the movie certain shots the shark looks like a little pasty. It's because they were putting so much makeup on it because it was decaying in real time. Again, this is stuff where you're like, who does this? Like, in what
Spielberg,
world?
man. He's like, we're making this movie. I don't care what it takes.
That was him in his fucking prime too. He was young and hungry.
Yeah.
And like, the world had never seen a movie like that.
No. He was 26.
Yeah, he was so young, dude.
But see, and Max, you probably got
that's where it comes back to like, but then he's such a good filmmaker that it's like he couldn't be a plant.
Yeah.
He's a plant.
He's a plant. If he is a plant, I'm into the movies. So he turned out like a good one.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, Max, you probably experienced this from your time in production. I think one of the things that a lot of people don't understand when they're not in this world is like you do crazy stuff to like to get the shot, get it done. And like again, I've seen in the commercial context, like when we've done commercials and it's like, oh, we need it to snow. And it's like, cool, we're gonna go spend $25,000 and like get like fake snow in July. And it's like, oh my God.
I've been on those shoots. So I don't know if you know, I used to be the lead photographer for BB, the women's wear brand. I ran their e-commerce department and stuff in LA. And I used to, before that, I worked with Mariano and he would shoot their campaigns. That was kind of my in with BB. And literally I think it was like August or something, like right before we would shoot winter in the summer.
Right. Getting the winter campaign ready to go.
They buy blocks of ice and a snow machine and
That's
fucking crazy.
That's wild.
Winter in the summer.
I always have felt as a marketer, I'm living the current time and also like 3 months in advance or 6 months in advance, you know? It's like, it's this weird world where I was talking the other day to somebody about holiday specials, you know? It's like, okay, what are we doing Thanksgiving? What are we doing Christmas? And it's like, oh yeah, like living in two worlds right now. So I've been doing back to school for 3 months, you know? So yeah.
Yeah, man. It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I was talking to someone about Black Friday stuff.
Yeah.
And Christmas stuff.
You're like, it's September. Like,
I was like, I haven't even been out to the deer stand yet, but here we go. Let's do Christmas.
Right.
Well, it's like this. The last 4 months are really busy with holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for sure. So
because you got back to school, you got Halloween, you got Thanksgiving, you got Black Friday, you got Cyber Monday, you got Christmas, you got
Thrifty Thursday, whatever the next thing is that we come up with.
Don't introduce that. Let's not do that.
Starting at Thrifty Thursday,
and then we hit January and nobody's got money.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so true.
But then everyone like looks, I don't know, probably in your space, I know in my space, they look at that and they go, oh, it's New Year, so let's get going. Let's get cracking on the New Year. It's like, dude, everyone hates everyone right now because we jammed all the holidays in a 2-month period.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
and I'm sure you deal with this too, Andrew, like the end of year, like, oh, we have some extra money in the budget. And then it's like, hey, can you help me spend like $25,000 in a week? And you're like, yeah.
I've got to find it out in 5 minutes.
Right. Yeah, like I'm going to the holidays, so can we not? Like, this is true. Another true crazy story. Stupid stuff you do in this business. I was in Madison. I was working for an agency at the time, and we were opening the new Moxie Hotel that's down on Washington down there. And it was Christmas Eve, and I was doing PR for that hotel. Like we were like having reporters go and open the hotel. It was like, who's watching this? It's Christmas Eve. But that's like the crazy stuff where it was like, we have to get the placement done by January 1, you know, and like let's get it done. Everyone's on the holidays. It was like, great. Like now Christmas Eve, I'm calling reporters. And like your point, everyone hates everybody. Like no one's having a good time. Yeah. So
the problem is it's better than the other. We're out of money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Right.
For sure.
It's like you'd rather do the work than not do the work. And it's
that world's so unforgiving though. It just you have to do it, and they just. And now, don't you feel like everything's just ramping up even more with AI and all of this stuff?
Oh yeah. I mean, the AI
it's ramping up even more, just faster.
But it's
faster.
It's bad though.
Faster, cheaper.
It's so bad.
I want the Andrew take on AI.
So like I'll use AI as a springboard occasionally, like because everyone hits roadblocks. So if I'm like writing copy for a client or I'm doing something like that, I'll use it as a springboard. We have a tool that it can like spit out a spot, like a temp spot, and be like, this is kind of what it sounds like. We'll recut it with a real human, whatever. I use it for that. But I will absolutely see people and we're all in the same industry to some degree, right? There's a lot of overlap with what we all do. But the bad actors that just straight up fire AI out into the world and they're like, look at me, I'm an expert. You're not an expert, bro. You typed in a prompt, it spit something out, and you published it like it was your own. Yeah. And that's what I have a problem with.
Good luck making that work when they want something specific.
Yeah. It's so bad. I hate it. And I did an interview a group of interviews for Chippewa Valley Technical College with a bunch of digital marketing students coming out because that's the program I went through. And the instructor's like, hey, come back through. And that was like one of the questions, like the pre-canned ones, like how do you use AI and is it good? And to watch these young kids like try and be like, well, yeah, it's really good. It's like, bro, you cheated through this, didn't you?
Like, that's how I did my final exams. Of course it's good.
Like, you cheated through school. I could already tell by the look on your face you cheated through school.
It's interesting because
they were all great though. They were all great kids. They all worked really hard, and it was obvious that they knew their stuff.
I
But
love that you're just dunking on a bunch of college kids right now.
but but that's the thing. Like, to me, that's the wild
It is
part.
an
Like, you
easy
don't know
way,
it.
but-
Yeah.
And there's studies out there that show the more you use the AI, the less engaged your brain is, and so it's actually like bad for your mental health, and like there's all kinds of studies going on with it. So,
Yeah, I think it just depends. I don't know how much you guys have used it to actually try to create things. It's not, you move sideways with AI, in my
a
opinion.
lot.
You get to like, A, it's really expensive, and B, it's super time consuming. So like things that sometimes I don't even get my results in an hour, where I'm like, if I had just built this in Photoshop, I'd be done.
Yeah.
You know, but I use it for layers. I just get in there and steal elements. Like if I need an element, I'll have it create it, and then I'll just cut it
That's
out.
not bad.
So,
But I've been fucking with AI video quite a lot. I just got the Google suite for it. I've been fucking with like Flow, I think is one of them, and then VO3. But man, I swear to God, it works really good like the first day.
yeah.
And then I don't know if they turn that shit down or what. But
It's your
like,
prompts, man.
I've been using AI to write my prompts.
The AI to teach the AI.
No, I'll chat
This is
GPT
Terminator
like
stuff
give me
here.
the
This is how it
best
happens.
prompts you can give me for this style.
Uh-huh.
And it worked for our Halloween one that we made. It was like, all right, this actually looks good. But then since then I've tried it a bunch and it looks like garbage.
Yeah. Wait. So
Also, it is I don't know. The Google ones are oddly woke.
okay.
Do a really good job of giving you like that high fashion model vibe, which
Okay.
I still think converts the best.
But what you're bringing up, Andrew, this is
for me and what I do, you know, I mean, for my demographic. Obviously, I'm not Target or something, you know what I mean? But
Right.
When I wonder too, like so much of what it does is imitation, right? Like this kind of thing where you were going to say, Andrew, is like it's not like at this point it's not really creating, it's repurposing and recombining.
It's algorithmic.
Okay, so wait, how would you respond to the? So I think there's a line of thinking that I track with that says, when we were coming up, everyone said you need to, you can't use Wikipedia, right? Because Wikipedia is cheating. And then over time they're like, yeah, you know what? Okay, Wikipedia is okay. Or
Yeah, but
like,
anybody can put anything on there. There's
Yeah.
like an episode of The Office about that.
yeah, and then and then it was like, oh, you need to learn how to do long division, and then we had calculators, and people are like, yeah, you still need to learn how to do long division though, because the calculator that's cheating. So I think there's a line of thinking that like AI is just going to be the next tool, and rather than pushing people away from it, we should teach them how to embrace it and use it. And to your point, Andrew, I think like how do you make people critically think while using it and things like that? Like, do you buy that, or is that bullshit? Like, how does that?
no,
sit with you?
I think it's a tool.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like thinking it's your savior is pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like it or love it, it's gonna stay here.
Yeah.
It's not
In
like
5
someone's
years,
gonna flick the
in
switch
five-
and it's gonna be
I
gone
think-
tomorrow.
Right.
5-6 years, there's going to be no longer a need for a photographer or a videographer. They'll be able to. It will all be cleaned up by then.
Well, I just saw I saw a story about who was it? Some men's fashion. They just they're like all on yachts and stuff. And like the photos are jacked up with like weird fingers and the patterns
Yeah.
wrong on the sweater or whatever.
Well, that's what, because
and they like
I
took
used
someone
AI
else's
to
work.
help create these, but now that I have like a mix of AI and Photoshop, but then say I take a photo of that and I put it into AI, dude, it does not copy the graphics right ever.
Yeah.
There's always something slightly different. Or say you have a perfect image and you're like, I absolutely love everything about this image. Just change this one color. Fuck, you got a whole new image.
It's the worst. Yeah.
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 But I think they'll work that out.
Yeah, I agree with you. So we've been using AI quite a bit, and like I'd like to think that we're pushing the boundaries of how communications firms are using AI, and we've really been leaning into it. But what you said, Max, I'm totally tracking. Like I think the future of creative work in especially agencies is not going to be the actual physical content creation, though there will remain some of that, because AI will never, I think, be able perfectly to capture like the storefront of that Eau Claire business. Like,
Yeah.
So you're going to need somebody who is on the ground and can shoot that, but it's going to be more of that creative director role. In rather than having a videographer and a photographer and a lighting person, you're going to have AI, and it's going to be.
But now you have iPhones,
yeah.
so you don't need a photographer.
Right. And it's starting to change already. And
Yeah.
I think, but this idea of the creative visionary, I think that is going to still exist.
Yeah, I agree with you. Creative direction.
Creative direction, yeah.
Yeah.
But the mechanism, the makers in that process, I think are going to start to disappear, and their roles are going to look very different. Like we're building our business around the assumption that long term there are going to be needs for localized content capture of like standard quality. Like it doesn't need to be very high def. It's just like, hey, like you want to put your business on the news, great. Like you're gonna need a shot of the outside of your business. You need a headshot of your owner. AI can't generate those to the degree, at least in the next couple of years, where it's possible. Maybe down the line, but it's probably easier. Just to your point, it's just have somebody come out and shoot it versus trying to finick with AI to get
100%. I ran into that today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's coming, and then the other piece I think on the agency side, like on the planning and the strategy and the project management, is the ability to train your AI and then use it as a force multiplier. So like we've invested a significant amount of time in training our AI. So for example, all of our clients have profiles inside our AI system with their messaging, their brand standards, all these different components. And baseline assumption is whenever any input is it will demand that you provide a client, and then it will cross-check everything that comes in against those components. So it can proof it, for grammar and copy, it can make sure that the brand voice is consistent. It can make sure the message is true, and it will challenge you if it's not as to why it is. And so then you start being able to get higher quality outputs. So, hey, you got to put together a social calendar for a client. They want 3 posts a week. Great. You've already got this AI system that knows all their stuff. Yep. You just are like, hey, I want a couple posts in this space, this space, this space, this space. Boom, it all comes out, and it's done in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So if you'll allow me to stay in my soapbox for one more second, it's that we are in a space for the next 2 to 3 years, I think, where there's a wide gap in the market in the understanding of the power of AI, and communications firms like mine are well positioned to take advantage of that gap.
Yep.
And we're going to make money on the fact that people are still willing to pay a fair amount of money for things that now take seconds to accomplish. But that's going to be gone in like 2 to 3 years. Like people are going to know, like it's that AI can do that. So I'm watching agencies that if they're not already starting that transformation, like if you're still in the days of selling technical writing for $1,000 an article, you're done. That stuff is gone.
It's wild.
So if you're a median copywriter, if you're a median creative, if you're a median strategist, your career is done in 3 years unless you can figure out. But I do think there's going to be space for high quality creatives. Like if you're generating something truly new and unique with vision, AI, at the end of the day, it's still, to your point, Andrew, it's not actually AI. It's like we're repackaging, and like maybe in the next couple of years they'll get it sorted. But I think strong creative vision and direction, and then also people who can do it like crazy cheap and badly, like those two people are going to exist.
Yeah.
It's the middle that's going to get hollowed out, I think.
Unless
100%.
they go like, and you'll see that, like, I mean, when you were saying that, burgers popped into my head, because you look at like how much a burger used to cost versus how much a burger costs today. And it's like come full circle,
right?
Where it's like you went from paying like a decent amount, like a fair amount for a hamburger, and then it went to like dirt cheap is the way to go. And now it's like the more expensive the hamburger, people rave about it, even if it's trash.
Yeah.
And it's like purely price point based. And I think I agree with what you're saying. I will say that it's going to open up a new space for boutique type stuff. And those people, like, as long as they can stay agile enough, because it's tough being boutique, but you can win big as a boutique. That, like, people sleep on it, and they're in every industry.
Totally.
Totally, yeah.
And I think there's going to be, like, as a brand safety, if you're brand safety at like a large organization, you're going to be scared shitless of letting AI in control of any of your stuff. So like, I think there's still going to be a market. Like if you're Coca-Cola, if you're McDonald's, like you're going to have human beings looking everything over before it goes out the door. Because it's too risky.
Looking it over, You know Virgil Abloh?
No.
The creative director?
No.
He did like Off-White. He did like Nike.
Oh,
that dude. Those are the people they want.
Right. Exactly. Like those people are going to have
the
jobs.
Visionaries.
The visionaries. Yep.
Yeah.
And then he's going to have some people who are sitting there cross-checking things when it's heading out the door, because brand safety is worth 50 grand or whatever.
Because I mean, it's very easy to make mistakes. Plus, you can if you're a smart creative, you're using the AI just to accomplish what you want.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're not letting it decide what you're getting.
Right.
Bad creatives, they don't have control of that, so they are just going to use what they get.
Right.
Yep.
I totally agree. Like
Yeah.
like AI is a force multiplying tool. It is not the critical thinking outcome generator. Like it only can give back to you what you put into it.
Yeah.
But I think the lack of critical thinking we're seeing, which you were articulating, Andrew, about like we're seeing this decrease in critical thinking, like that's what's alarming is like you still have to take what you're getting back from your AI partner and say, yeah, no, this is good, redo it, because if you don't know, game over. So no, I'm totally tracking. So it's gonna be crazy, you guys. Like if I'm back on the show in like 5 years and we're sitting here talking about this, it's gonna be a totally different conversation.
I 100% agree. I kind of want to take it a little philosophical. We're almost at an hour right now.
Oh my gosh, that's hard to believe. Okay, yeah.
I know time flew by actually on this one, which I'm not in any kind of hurry, so we can keep going if you guys want.
Yeah.
But then we go back to that visionary. Why do you think some people have such a strong vision like that compared to other people? Like, I kind of believe in tapping into like higher consciousness when it comes to creating and like where are these ideas coming from type of deal. Like, what do you think about that kind of stuff? Where do you think those ideas come from?
That's well, first of all, that's a great question because as a account and brand person, I spend most of my time slapping down people's creative thinking because I'm like, they're like, what if we did the whole thing animated? I'm like, we don't have budget for that. Stop talking.
Yeah, which I think is important because I struggle with that too as someone who's kind of a lead creative where everybody has an opinion and doesn't mean it's an opinion you want to listen to or go with. But then genius ideas do come out of something. And a lot of people say they don't know where they came from. So that's why I'm just curious what you think.
I do have a thought on that, and I will say, but before just to build on what you just said, Tina Fey in her autobiography has a great line where she was talking about managing SNL, and she said, one of the great misconceptions of managing creative people is that you have to get them to be more creative. She said, the truth is the opposite. You actually want people to be less creative because she was telling this story about like, they needed a prop and it was like a muffin on a plate and it comes back and it's like the muffin's 5 feet tall and it's got like sparklers in it and it's like, guys, all we needed was a muffin on the plate. Like you got to be on the team, right? Support the vision. And so, putting people in the box, the sandbox that you want them to play in is actually a very helpful and necessary thing to do when managing teams of creative folks. But where does it come from? I think there's like this magic combination that exists when I've seen campaigns that have been truly transcendent, which is a strong upfront for strategic vision where like you come with a strong box, right? You're like, here's what we're trying to do. Here's the product, or here's what we're trying to sell. Here's who we're trying to reach with it. Inside this framework, what do you got? And then a creative team that's willing to put some stuff out there, like, and take some risk. I had a creative director who was another mentor who said one of the things that account people do all the time to creatives is they'll say, give me 3 options to show to the client.
Yep.
And she's like, no, don't tell the team the number of options. Tell them to go do as many options as they want, and then eventually they can hone it down to the right number. But like, if they want to do 5 options, 7 options, like for that first round of review, it's not about making the one chair right. It's about making 100 chairs and picking the best one. And I was like, man, that's good advice. And so really tried in that moment to move away from doing that. And I think that's, where you got the magic of the team. They're making 100 chairs. They're just like throwing stuff out there. There's energy around the project. And then I think you pull it back in and you have this moment where it connects with something real out there in the world.
100%. Plus, like, things take time to bake.
Yeah.
Like there's so many design projects I've done where I really hate when it has to be super fast because I feel like if you just get a little bit of come back and forth on it and you see new things and you see new directions and new insights come in, because I've been doing a lot of product design lately and it's not something I've normally done in the past, but it's always been like, we need this now. And then it's like you do it and then you look at it for a week and then like by next week you hate it.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
well, I think it's like objective based too. So I think your creativeness that you're doing now is definitely a transition from what you started out doing.
Totally.
And you're kind of doing more what we do on a day to day where it's like the objective is I need eyeballs, I need dollars in the bank, I need these things happening so that the businesses that you work with can continue to thrive and provide good, exceptional products, services, whatever, right? That's the dream, right?
Yeah.
That you're running down as a marketing person.
Yeah.
I think in a nutshell, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll give you this, Max. There's so Simon Sinek, who's one of these like leadership guys. Love Simon. Yeah. He was a great talk, one of the most influential talks I've ever seen, which is called "Most Leaders Don't Know the Game They're In." And his argument in the talk is that business is talked about as a finite game. It has an end, you win. But in reality, business is not. It's an infinite game, right? It goes endlessly. Like the end goal of every business is really just to stay in business. Like there's no winning the game of business. But too many corporations are in that mindset. And so what happens, I think, to your point about timelines and all these things and like what makes great work, too many businesses are focused on how do I get this out the door now? How do I guarantee it's going to be successful so that it makes me money this quarter and I can show it on my earnings report and I can win? The best businesses and the ones that truly confound the competition are the ones who say, it's not about being up or down now. It's about long-term staying in business and giving time for these things to bake and understanding that like not everything we put out in the world is going to be a winner. But as long as more are winners than less, we're going to be okay. And that mindset is so radically different from the vast majority of what capitalism has incentivized us to do.
Well, it's not 100%. Yeah.
That, as creatives, I think you get stuck in that pinch, right? Where they're like, no brands want to take risks.
Yeah.
Like people come to me, I'm sure you've probably had this too, Andrew, where people come to me all the time. They'll be like, how do I get the next viral video? And you're like, what?
Why are we talking?
Why,
if I just could crank them out like that, like I wouldn't even be talking to you.
I shit you not. I had a client after. Remember the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge?
Yeah.
I had a client who was like, "What's the next ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, man?" And I was like, "You're paying me $40,000 a year to come up with that? Like, no. If I knew that, I would go do it myself and make more money, you know?"
Right.
But like, that's this ethos of like, okay, well, they did it. Well, it's like the way you do it is you take a risk, and like you look at these brands, like even like the Sydney Sweeney American Apparel Eagle, whatever, like that whole.
She's got good genes.
She got good genes.
She's got good genes.
So like that's a.
You liked that campaign, didn't you?
I like Sydney Sweeney.
I
Try to get her in a Google app.
That's what I mean. You.
and I love. And I mean, I don't know. Like, I haven't been super plugged in, but I did see. I mean, there was a fair amount of conversation of like how much was it intentionally rage baiting versus.
Yep.
I think 100% they're just doing it on purpose. They got instead of getting 3 million views, they got 20 million views.
100%.
I saw an interesting thing about Cracker Barrel because they just went through it all right. And was it their CEO or CMO? She did a similar thing at Taco Bell. And it was like, yeah, we just wanted to create outrage. You get a bunch of free paid media spend because you're getting tons of news coverage and tons of social coverage. And it's just like,
and then
we just pulled it back. No big deal.
Hey guys,
right?
we didn't actually make any changes except for the spreadsheet that you all saw.
Kind of. Yeah. And it was like, oh, well, who's winning now?
And it's like, that's it as much as like as horrifying and just objectionable that style of marketing is. It was effective, and it also was a risk. Like someone took a risk on that. Like that campaign could have done nothing, and they're like, "Well, we spent $1 gajillion on Sydney Sweeney and doing this whole campaign, and it didn't do anything."
Yeah, but then you hear 50 Cent, who's like a genius marketer. You hear him talk about it, and he was like, "Someone was complaining, I was bitching about them, but it's like, yo, I just blew you up. Like that negative stuff actually travels better.
Totally.
It's bad for like." Humanity,
Society,
but it's true.
Yeah.
So, but in like, I think that, again, there are brands who then would say, well, how do we do that? How do we be the next Sydney Sweeney like campaign? It's
Sydney
like
Sweeney, Cracker Barrel,
like, first of all,
Bud Light.
Yeah, how do we,
Balenciaga. I mean, Balenciaga did that baby bondage campaign.
Oh yeah. that was wild.
And these are the things where like people ask that, and to a certain extent, it's like, yes, you can. Tactically, there's rage baiting and all these things, but like you have to be fundamentally willing to take a risk, right? Like someone at the C-suite had to sign off on that. They had lawyers sign off on that, and like that's where if you don't have people willing to do that, you're not going to make waves in marketing. And so you ask what makes transcendent work. Like I think there's also got to be a willingness from the leadership team to say, you know what, we're going to take a risk, like. What does this look like if we do something crazy? Like, remember when the Wendy's, their Twitter account started for the first time, like trolling people?
Savages.
Like, that stuff where it's like some executives signed off on that. And they were like, but it was literally like, okay, we're just going to like let this team go nuts and we're going to see what happens. But like, that's a huge risk.
You know what it probably was? He probably went through a drive-through. Whoever that CMO or CEO was, went through a drive-through, got clapped back by some kid in a drive-through and was like, this kid's gold. Like, this is your new job, man. Here's the Twitter handle. You're on it now.
Just like go around and troll people. And like,
well, talk about the Twitter, the king troll, like Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He's the king troll, dude.
Troll.
He is just trolling.
Yeah. Oh, and again, like we like talking Donald Trump, like Donald Trump is a master at controlling media, and like, and again, these like everything that's
comes back to like any press is good press.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and certainly like controlling the press so that you're never having to like you're never not you're always in control of how the conversation is going. And the moment you're out of control, you divert it into the next thing. And I think Donald Trump very accurately understands, as does Elon Musk and some of these others, that like in the environment we're in, people have got like 24 hours of attention span, 48 hours. Like things move so quick. So I mean, even like the Sydney Sweeney campaign, like that feels like that was months ago. That was probably like 2 weeks ago. You know.
Well, here's a interesting direction to go. What, do you have any like favorite like campaigns that you think about? Like one of my favorite ones is like the Think Different campaign. Like I loved all of the Steve Jobs stuff, like his whole idea behind it all. I'm just wondering if there's any campaigns that like stick out in your mind where you're like, man, I really love that. Like I also, I really love like the Budweiser frogs and like just like
classic.
I'm a comedy guy, so I get deep into the comedy stuff. But
there's a couple that stick out.
But Think Different does. I think what they did there was like so genius.
The couple campaigns that jumped to mind that were so good. Remember Got Milk?
Oh yeah. Insanely good.
Insanely good. Also,
People are
like,
still copying it. Like some variation of it. Yeah.
It's still a thing. Got Milk sticks out. Remember when GoDaddy launched with its initial Super Bowl ad, and then there were like a series of ads, and they got again so much negative press because they were perceived as like very crass and sexualized.
Yep.
That launched a
that
brand. Oh, go watch it on YouTube again. And
I'll
like
have to find it.
To be fair, these days you're gonna be like, this is really tame. What was anyone complaining about? But it was like 2012 or 2008, maybe even. I don't even remember.
That was before WAP was the song of the year.
right. No, way back. So, and then, and then I was thinking about the what's the famous crying Indian ad? The recycle campaign, like way
That's
back in the day. Like you talk about these influential campaigns from the past that like again set the public conversation for like decades and decades and decades. If you haven't, have you heard of the Crying Indian? Have you heard?
I don't know that.
Oh
one.
man, you gotta go. Okay, so back in like whatever the 70s,
80s, I think
there was this concerted push in reduce, reuse, recycle.
I've heard that.
That campaign, they were like, how do we make sure we emphasize the component that puts the most onus on the individual consumer versus corporations? So the trade group basically said, well, reduce. Well, we don't want to reduce. Reuse, that's really hard and expensive. Recycle, we can make people do that. And so they did the Crying Indian, which was they literally was like this guy's like land is getting covered with trash and he's got a single tear running down his cheek. And it was this highly impactful ad. And it was single-handedly responsible for shifting the burden of recycling away from corporate entities and onto consumers. And hugely impactful. It's vivid. And also another thing that's been copied a bunch of times. So like you'll see it in imagery wise, you'll be like, oh, I've seen that other places.
Sure.
Yep.
No, I just think it's crazy how a marketing campaign can like affect culture.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I'm with you 100%. It's one of the cool parts of what we do. And one of the things we talk about with clients all the time is, what we do is not like there's science to it, but it's at the end of the day, it's behavioral. Like we're dealing with people and people are complex and some things go and some things don't go and you never know why. And any marketer who comes in and promises you results is lying to you. We don't ever know. We take reasonable guesses, but that's why the creative side of the business is so ethereal is if you connect to something that's true in people, that's when you get results, and that's really hard and to do, especially in a commercial context. Where
it's hard too because it's like it's all product based too. It's like, well, are you selling something good or not? Because like there's so many polished turds out there too. Where like, man, this would be a lot easier if the product was good.
Yeah. Well, this is more Simon Sinek, but Simon Sinek's book that got him on the map was you start with why and the golden circle. Which so the argument in the book is. Typically most brands message outside in. So they start and they say, my name is Michael. I run, a big box store. We sell boxes. Our boxes happen to be bigger, cheaper. You have the differentiators. Don't you want to buy a box from me? And you're like, no, that's not really that interesting. So if you flip it and you start with a why, which is the innermost circle of this chart, you would say, every day we get out of bed and our belief is that people should have a place to put their stuff. We happen to have cheap boxes. They happen to be big boxes. We have to have all the kinds of boxes. And, those boxes can help you move. Would you be interested in a box? Like, certainly a better message. And so when you think about brands that are really good at marketing, like Apple, it jumps to mind. Like, Apple doesn't start with product, right? Like, they start with this, like, everything we create is designed to empower users in a way that's easy to access
Yeah.
and allow them to achieve the life they want to achieve.
I think Apple
it's emotion.
Apple had an
It's
amazing
emotion.
foundation with Steve Jobs. So Steve, I don't know if you've read like Walter Isaacson's book or anything like
No, I haven't.
his biography
But I've
or
heard it's
anything.
good, yeah.
So good. He was such a visionary where he's like the consumers don't know what they want.
Yeah.
We need to create something that's going to push it and tell them what they want. Which I think they did for years, but I think that now they're kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate saying that, being a diehard Apple person my whole life. But it's been a while since they really done something amazing. Like Apple should have done AI. Like Apple should have been the forefront. They were too busy building a car that never came out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When they should have been going in other directions, in my opinion. But
Steve Jobs was, to that point about finite versus infinite views in business, Steve Jobs was incredibly good at setting an infinite vision for Apple. Like, it wasn't about always having the best thing. It was about how do we look ahead 10 years and see, oh yeah, we should have an MP3 player and a phone be the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a mini computer in our palm. Like, let's do that. And yeah, it's not going to give us 3 or 4 or 5 years of strong profitability, but when it comes out, it's going to be huge.
yeah.
And that was an incredible vision that certainly I think has diminished in recent years.
Well, I think you can watch the structure of Apple because, Steve was in there really early and then they fired him.
Mm-hmm.
And so Steve made them blow up.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got out of control. They fired him. Then 5 years goes by. He does Next computers and then he does Pixar.
Right.
I don't know if you know the Pixar thing, but then
Yeah,
he literally
crazy.
changes how movies are made. And then Apple just goes, and then they bring him back. He goes like this. And now I feel like Apple's, other than the fact that they really are a monopoly with the App Store and all of that other stuff. And I think 80% of phones still, but
Yeah.
they're not doing anything magical right now. I haven't seen for years anything too magical.
And maybe we'll see someone soon. I don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting time for them.
Either
I
that
think.
or we'll have Waymos what did they call Waywoms?
What?
The
Waymos
automated
are the
cars?
cars. No, it's
yeah.
the Chinese equivalent of Apple. It's like
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wami or whatever.
Yeah.
I know what you
I'm
mean.
not familiar, but I know what you're talking about, but I'm not. I couldn't name it.
Yeah, but it just comes back kind of full circle to us talking about like how executives kind of get in the way too of creatives because they just want returns, and then they don't do risky things, and then
Well, and not to like go down until another rabbit hole, but we've been talking about this a lot on our podcast, which is like you look at the way movies are getting made right now, right? Like everything's a superhero movie, and like again, it's this model around like, well, what's guaranteed to make us money? Like we haven't seen like those mid-budget
they're
like
gone.
movies. They don't get made anymore. And like you look at guys like Chris Evans or Chris Hemsworth, these are guys who like should be the next Tom Cruise, should be the next Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. But like there's no movies for those guys to do other than to be superheroes. And it's hard to have like, and there's actually a great video essay by a guy named Patrick Willems on this where he talks about the death of cinema. And one of the big challenges we're facing right now is that the movie star is being killed. Like there's no way that we build movie stars because Spider-Man's the movie star, not the actor who plays him. And so we're in this world now where like there's no movie stars to draw you into movies. Everything's about IP. There's another Jurassic Park movie that came out, And like at some point that model's going to fail. It's starting to fail now. Like,
well, it's funny because I just heard Dan Soder talking about this, about dealing with Netflix and like how they didn't want to buy his comedy special because he doesn't have 1 million followers. And then he's like, the way that they look at it now is it's every content, most of it's equal, and they just put it all into a slop bucket and they throw the slop down for the pigs, and then it's just, like they don't. It's the way things are consumed now. It's so different that if it's going on Netflix, it's competing with everything that's ever been created.
Yeah.
So then if you don't already have some type of a fan base behind somebody, it's hard to take a chance on it,
Oh, 100%. And then you get into this crazy world.
But then you get sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
You get weird situations where things will now blow up on YouTube.
Right. And I was just going to build on that. And like, Andrew, you can probably speak this too in your world. Like we get asked all the time as marketers for attribution, right? Like how can you show me that the comedy special that I put on Netflix and that we bought and paid for got me X number of subscribers? And you can't. And Netflix has been trying to solve this problem for a decade, but human beings are incredibly complex. Like if you have a Netflix subscription, why do you have it? What's keeping you there? Every person's unique, and even the things you're watching doesn't actually mean that's what's keeping you there. And so there's this whole engine that's running where Netflix has no freaking clue why all these people are staying. They've got some guesses and hypotheses, but they don't actually know. And so the best you can do is just throw more slop down in the bucket and hope that people stay. But at some point, they're going to trip over their feet here because making all this content is incredibly expensive, and like they're not quite sure which of it is actually keeping people.
Well, and they're not like doing small stuff either. Right. I mean, like look at Happy Gilmore too.
I know.
And they were like, when did that release? Quarterly earnings time. I wonder why.
Did you guys watch it?
Oh yeah,
I actually did not.
I haven't watched it yet.
It was. I mean, it was
I
on
want to
par
see
for
it
an Adam
just for
Sandler
fun.
movie.
It was slop. Is that what I'm hearing?
I mean, I'm an Adam Sandler fan.
Okay,
I like how he has like all his homies and.
I heard he wasn't. I heard Happy wasn't happy.
Yeah, he really wasn't. And then there's tons of cameos. I mean,
but that's the slop bucket.
That part
that is the slop bucket.
But if it was anything else, I would say yes, slop bucket. But I think because it's Adam Sandler and it's Happy Gilmore too.
Yeah,
I think he probably went out in Hollywood and said, "I'm shooting Happy Gilmore 2. Who wants to be a part of it?" And he turned people away.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Oh, 100%.
That I guarantee.
Yeah, but so like.
I feel like someone must have offered him a
Yes.
ungodly amount of money, and he was like, "Fuck it, home run, let's run with it, boys."
I think so too. As much as I would love to buy where you're going, Andrew, my take is
Glass half full.
I bet, yeah. I think that's the best case. I just like when you look at the other stuff that Netflix is doing, because like Happy Gilmore 2, I think is a uniquely well-known IP.
Right.
But again, this is what we're doing. We're taking IP. It's known it's going to be successful. We're dumping a gajillion dollars in it. Cameos are a wonderful way too. That the trailer can be exciting. We get more people in, and then, but like again, what's crazy?
It all comes down to marketing, because the more cameos you have of famous people, the more famous people you have resharing the project.
Yep.
And then the question, though, is back to attribution. How many people stayed as Netflix subscribers or became Netflix subscribers because of it? We don't know. We don't know. So what do you do? Well, we better make another one.
Happy Gilmore 3. Let's go.
Happy Gilmore 3. Let's do it.
I subscribe to watch tires.
Is it sort of like Fast and the Furious? Like what number are we on these days?
12 or 13.
Poor Vin Diesel. He's like family. It's about family.
He's got a new movie coming out.
Vin Diesel?
Is it Fast and Furious?
Oh no, I confused myself with The Rock.
They're sort of the same guys.
They kind of are.
Jeez.
This is why we keep our podcast focused on movies that came out 40 years ago. It's a little bit more of a
that sounds like a fun thing to do.
Yeah. You know, we've watched almost 200 movies now for
really?
the podcast. Which
How
is
many
crazy.
episodes are you on?
Almost we have 200 taped and probably 150 out.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's been 5 years. It's been
What happened on the 50 you didn't put out? You guys got wasted or what?
Well, there was a period when I was getting the business
pure
spun up.
butter popcorn butter from the theater.
Down it goes. Yeah. Oh, well, you know how it is. It's like
if you guys ever heard guest, I would do it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I would watch a movie and then come on and talk about it.
The key is what we like when we have our guests is ideally you pick either a movie that you love that everyone hates that you love, or something that you've heard is bad that you always wanted to watch.
It has to be a bad movie?
It doesn't have to be.
What about a foreign film?
Yeah, we can do it.
There's this film called A Prophet, and it would be it. It's a gangster film, but it's French.
This sounds great.
And it's so good.
Well, the fact that it's good is already going to raise the level of content on this podcast.
But it's no one knows about it here.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's perfect. Like again, the whole we started with really good bad movies, and we've been expanding into this idea of we waste our time so you don't have to. So like if it's a risky film like this, where someone's like, I don't know if I'm going to take a risk and watch that.
Yeah,
we'll watch it for you. We'll tell you, hey, it's a good movie. It's worth your time. So that would be a perfect pick.
So what's the best movie and worst movie you've watched in pursuit of this podcast?
I 100% know this answer.
Have you turned any off where you're like, I can't?
Yeah, no, we always finish them for the podcast, even though it's been rough. Best movie still is the Patrick Swayze classic Roadhouse.
Love Roadhouse.
Just it is the perfect good bad movie.
Old
Roadhouse. I
not
just watched
new.
new Jake Gyllenhaal Roadhouse, not as good. But no, old Patrick Swayze Roadhouse, incredible. It's just like center bullseye for the good bad movie genre. We have 3 hallmarks of good bad movies. One, it's got to have momentum. If you have time to slow down and question the stupid stuff happening in the movie, bad. So good movie, good bad movies got to have pace, right? You can never slow down and realize how stupid it is. Second, everyone in the movie has to think they're making something awesome. Like there's got to be a belief that you're changing the game, right? And everyone's got to be bought in, like costumes, music, like everyone's got to be down. And the third is your director, your lead actor. Somebody has to have a vision. Like you got to have a creative thing that you're
Yeah.
trying to do. It can't just be like, hey, we're gonna make Happy Gilmore 5. Like it's got to be like, hey, no, we're changing things. They now sold everyone on that vision, and then you go and make this thing. And
Okay.
It's fast. Roadhouse is exactly that. Like they're
Yeah,
like,
it is.
this is awesome. We're gonna have this bar movie, and it's gonna be crazy. And everyone was fully sold. And the movie's like 90 minutes, so it's super tight. Worst movie, which had none of those things, is a movie called Nothing But Trouble.
Dude, I
never heard
love
of it.
Nothing But Trouble.
I see. This is when's the last time you've seen Nothing But Trouble?
Like, if I see it on like a streaming platform, I'm guaranteed to watch it within 4 months because it's hilarious. It's so bad, it's good.
So my experience with the film,
I don't know.
I struggled with this. So this is
What
Dan,
is it?
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd, John Candy.
I like those guys.
So Dan Aykroyd does Ghostbusters, and it goes really well, right? Everyone's like, Ghostbusters is freaking awesome. This is great, and he gets a blank check to do whatever he wants. And so he writes like the first draft of the script was like 800 pages. Like this thing was crazy, and he had no editor or anything. Like he just did exactly. It's like unadulterated vision of this man, and it is all over the map.
Or he's drunk. He was drunk when he wrote it. Drunk high.
Chevy Chase is in it. Like it's that whole crew of guys.
Yeah.
Who's the musical cameo in it? I can't think of his name.
Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna remember.
He wears the fake nose. The rapper from back in the day, the Humpty Dump, Mr. Humpty.
I don't remember.
Or whatever. Mr. Humpty, do the Humpty Dump. Like
It's
dude,
very bad. You should.
I think like Tupac is in it too, like for like 5 seconds.
Is he really?
Yeah, dude, it's so good, it's bad. Or
It's
so
got
bad,
like a
it's good.
0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Like this movie is it's one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. It's an experience.
It's like a comedy Texas Chainsaw Massacre SNL skit thing.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
It's weird.
Just go look up some clips on YouTube, and then you can decide how much you want to burn 2 hours of your time.
Sometimes it's kind of fun
Yeah,
because I like bad comedies.
yeah. This might be right up here,
Dude, I think you'd like it.
With those boys in it, they sound like I'd like it.
Oh, and they all are multiple
But I'm bad. I'm
characters.
really bad at consuming.
Yeah. Well,
I'm like I listen to like my 2 hour Kill Tony a week, and then most of it's just podcasts.
this might turn you off of
Versus,
movies
like-
for a while, or maybe turn you back on. I don't know. You know what? You got to watch this now.
I
so
don't even
Andrew
have
and
a. I don't have a. I don't have a TV here.
Yeah. Well,
You got an Apple.
Yeah, I got an iMac.
Just stream that bad boy.
Yeah,
it's on something.
it's
figure it
definitely on a lot of things because no one's fighting for their rights. So
That's so funny.
yeah, you can check that out. So yeah, so those are the two I would say, and yeah, we've done we just finished. We did all the Mission Impossible movies. We're doing like a Tom Cruise series.
How
which is kinda
crazy is
cool.
Tom Cruise though?
Oh, totally crazy. Yeah.
His
So-
stunts and shit.
Oh yeah, it's wild. I mean, it's like this guy's just total madman. So
It must be one of the only things he gets a thrill from because he's just so high up there. He's had such a crazy life that like now he like needs to like be like,
does,
no,
like-
fuck it, my life, I might die.
Well, yeah. I mean, he did
a
the
wild
Scientology thing.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
very intense.
he's very intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it's yeah.
That stare.
But he does all of his
in the running.
stunts.
Yeah, he does all his
He
stunts.
hangs onto planes while they take off and shit.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. Oh, it's crazy. It's totally crazy. The stunt that's still in that all those stunts are crazy. The one that is burned in my mind is they did the shot on the Burj Khalifa. So the tallest
yeah.
building.
Oh,
in the
yeah, and
Middle
he's, like,
East,
he's up
and he's
there.
like up there, and like he's got these like gloves that hold him up, and then like one fails. He's hanging up, and in behind the scenes, all that's holding him up is one wire. There's just like one wire and that's it. And he's up there, and like the wind's blowing like 100 miles an hour.
Well, yeah, because there's nothing to block it.
To block it, yeah, it's crazy.
I
So-
jumped out of an airplane once, and it was the scariest thing I've ever done.
Nah, you'll be all right.
It's scary.
Well, maybe hold on putting you on the Burj Khalifa. So,
Yeah,
but
I would not do it. I don't like heights like that.
yeah, I'm with you. I would sit on the ground and watch Tom Cruise do it.
Yeah, I
That's,
don't like.
that's about where I'm at.
Good up there, Tom.
Yeah, you go up there. Go up there, bud.
I did some air time. I got 3 hours above San Francisco once for a job
Nice.
in a helicopter.
That's a lot.
Dude, I love
Yeah,
helicopters.
It was pretty fun.
Hands down. The
I've
best.
landed at like every type of plane too, like water, all that shit.
I've never been in a helicopter.
Oh,
I
it's
feel
the
like
best.
that's like
It's pretty cool.
Cool time.
It
Yeah.
It's
is
really
pretty
cool.
Yeah, that seems sweet.
Especially when the pilot's like trying to show off and they're like mapping the earth. And, like you bank and you look over your shoulder and there's the ground.
There's the You're like, okay,
It's
buckle
like, yeah,
in.
this is awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
I don't know. I was like 19. I might not think it was cool now.
No, but that sounds pretty sweet.
I wouldn't mind trying to be in the backseat of a jet, a real jet.
A real one.
Yeah, like a real fighter jet.
Dude,
Just see how many G's I take before I'm like,
fanboy out over the Blue Angels when they come into town.
Yeah.
dude, they were doing low circles
bad
above our
over
house
there.
right
Yeah.
here. Like,
I know.
dude, it was crazy.
I have video on my phone of
Oh
them
yeah, you
flying
live
over,
right here,
so,
dude.
yeah.
They were so loud
They were
over
so
here.
loud.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. And
Me
so
too.
Someone asked me the other day, like, how do you know your business has made it? And I said, I know my business has made it when I can spend that $5,000 to sponsor the air show here in town, just so I can sit front row in one of those boxes.
Wearing your Navy hat?
Yeah, wearing my. What's up, boys? Yeah, that's good. And that was the last day I was allowed in town. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that would be the dream though. I'm into that
Yeah.
stuff.
When I lived in Washington, man, there's so many little private communities where they have like little airfields and stuff,
Yeah,
and like
right.
and like little airplane hangars. Like if I ever got rich and had free time, I would learn how to fly.
Dude, this is on my list. I want to learn how to fly a plane.
There's a guy in town.
I know. Well, I've heard this.
There's a helicopter guy in town who I shot his girlfriend. I'm trying to get him on the podcast, but he's been hard to get a hold of.
He's up in the air.
I don't know. Too cool for me.
I've been wanting to talk to you.
All these people that didn't come on the podcast, they're gonna be sad in a year.
when our ship comes in. Yeah, I've been wondering, like, well, and the guys who do the Mayo flights, they got to be around here, right? The chopper pilots, like they're around. I bet they've like got some stories. That'd be kind of interesting. Cause they gotta like land crazy places and stuff.
Oh yeah,
so.
I was out at Big Falls one time, watched someone crack their head open and having a helicopter land out there.
Ooh.
Yeah,
No fun.
no fun at all.
What about Kobe Bryant?
Kobe.
Less fun.
Less fun.
Well, guys, we're about an hour and a half in.
I gotta catch a volleyball game.
How crazy is that?
North.
Time just flew by, guys.
Yeah, no, this is good.
You guys want to tell the people where they can find you one last time?
We're
We're gonna do this again because I had too much fun. I don't even want to get off.
Yeah, I feel like I had some questions that we didn't get to. So
Yeah,
for next time.
Is there anything you want to ask before we get off?
No, but do you want me to plug your? Should I do your plug? Okay.
I'm gonna do a real read and just throw it in.
I don't often roll, but when I do it with a Zara.
Guys, crack it, sip it, feel it. GetHazed.com.
.com.
Thank you guys. Well, thank you guys for coming. Tell the people where they can find you one last time.
Go ahead.
You can find me, confluencewi.com. That's the website for the agency. And I'm on Instagram as the Train Wrecky.
Nice.
The train wreck.
Are we friends?
I
will
think I
be.
just followed the podcast. We'll be after this, though.
Yeah.
Find me on LinkedIn. Andrew Hrabe.
Let's go.
iHeartMedia.
Snore.
Well, guys,
LinkedIn.
Dude, I like.
Give me a cool thing.
Dude, you
find
me-
him on.
Find me over on Robert
Find
Road,
me.
yo.
Find him on Between Two Lines,
I'm between two lines, of course.
where I tag his personal page.
Yeah.
As long as it's not OnlyFans.
Guys, thank you so much. Like and
Thanks.
subscribe. I love you guys. Gotta go. Bye.
Nirvana means in Sanskrit, blow out. That is, exhale the breath.